Let me take you back to 1997. Toei digitized Mega Ranger to the television screens, alongside the final nail to the Metal Hero franchise, B-Robo Kabutak, while Kamen Rider had nothing. But at the same time those two shows and the lack of Kamen Rider aired, Subaraya Production brought back their marquee franchise, Ultraman, in Ultraman Tiga. Tiga was a ginormous success, from toy sales going through the roof and TV ratings doing really well, reaching between 4 to 8%, winning awards and fans loving the cast, the story and the action. The show was seen by everyone as a success that both Bandai and TBS were all in to continuing to sponsor and air Ultraman after Tiga, and a bunch of other sponsors were chasing Subaraya to sponsor Ultraman. But there was one person that looked at Tiga as a failure. At the time, he was the newest president of Subaraya Production, being Kazu Subaraya. If you didn't watch my Legacy of Ultraman Tiga video, I would give you a small little rundown on Kazu Subaraya. The replacement of Noboru Subaraya that sadly passed away wanted to do one thing, and that is to bring Ultraman back to the top tokusatsu show on TV, like it once used to be. But the Subaraya production that Kazu came into was a company that almost for 5 years tried to push to any network the Ultraman Neos pilot to no interest. When Kazu first sat down on his chair, a bulk of high-ranking executives left the company because of his lack of business experience. But Kazu understood that trying to push the pilot would not work. It would be a bigger waste of time and money. So he pretty much told the creatives at Subaraya Production to take all the things that weren't shown in the pilot and put them in the new show that was named Tiga. He was responsible for hiring the writer Konaka J. Chiaki and Daigo's actor Hiroshi Nagano. He saw Tiga as a failure for one specific reason, and that was it didn't attract the audience that he was looking for, being the kids/youth of the time. How much they were a piece of the pie, they weren't the largest piece. Because Tiga was more drama focused, it actually attracted the 21 to 28-year-old college students. Well, for the next season, what Subaraya Production creatives can do? Actually, it's pretty simple. Keep a small portion of the drama element that were a part of Tiga, but to make Kazu Subaraya happy, insert more comedic/childish elements to the new show. But the thing was, they weren't really sure where the season should take place. Will it be a continuation of Tiga's world, or even doing something entirely different? Or there was some small talk to even bring back the old Showa universe. After a long discussion, they decided to continue with the same world as Tiga, but with Konaka J. Chiaki not being able to helm as the semi-head writer of the show. Somebody else took his job, and that man is the second recurring character in Legacy of Ultraman next to Konaka and Kazu, and that man is Keiichi Asagawa. You probably remember him as the man behind the Yellow Eyes project that later became Ultraman the Next and the head writer of Ultraman Nexus. His role was basically the same as Konaka. His role was to write the base mythos and lore of the show, while writing the show's A and B points that connects one point to another would be largely handled by the other writers, with some direction from Hasagawa that they would not swerve away from the character's fixed line of development. The creative team decided to set the show over 7 years after Tiga, coining the phrase Neo Frontier. human beings on Earth have begun to explore the unknown world. However, the new discoveries by humanity begins to create new obstacles. The mainstay of the show is Kaiju. Neo Frontier equals hope, a drama of human beings who understand and fight against natural disasters as trials of humanity. This time, the theme, the charm of the kaijus, the action of our new heroes are highlighted. Kaiju that jump and move from our imagination. This is what we, from children to adults, look forward into this production. Focus on scary but sometimes cute looking kaijus. What kind of kaijus? Where did they came from? And what's their purpose? They wanted to explore these essential details in a new approach. The beautiful planet. The Earth was targeted by invaders for the cosmic and extra-dimensional aliens who appears in this new series. All through now a meager of power will soon have a huge impact on this universe. They begin to fear the limitless possibility that humans have. Humans cannot advance to the next stage without passing these battles. The new series is aiming at the light. Possessed by Tiga becomes a series full of hopes and dreams, in which human begins on Earth challenge the infinite possibilities. In the new series there are monsters and alien, people from different dimensions, and returning creatures from the mysterious world of Tiga. The Neo Frontier refers to humanity's pursuit of a higher quality lifestyles, advancing technology, curiosity, and etc., while having absolute no intention of invading other planets or creatures. However, when humanity is being faced with an unknown territory, unknown danger awaits us. An example of the Earth's human beings, the new pioneering spirit. This is the Neo Frontier world. The show would explore more of the universe beyond Earth, even into different dimensions, other planets, moon, comets, and the possibility of resource extension and human settlement living in space. The solar system alone has a variety of energies such as hydrogen, helium, water, gas, and many more. How can there be more energy sources and creatures that surpass human intelligence outside of the Milky Way? What if we bring them back to Earth? Various ideas to be discussed. Green planets, sandy planets, watery planets, planets with completely different level of gravity, planets with a completely different time lapse, planets with a split Earth. Ultra-primitive planets, ultra-futuristic planets, explosion of stars, storms and tornadoes in cosmic space, etc. Wait, what kind of planets and environments, creatures and kaijus are there in and out of the solar system? Explore all of the worlds. Practical uses of Antarctic ice and seawater. Will there be a new resource in the subterranean polar region? There are also lost worlds when ancient creatures are still alive. Do they really exist? And other ancient civilization under the research and investigation, except the super ancient civilization of Tiga, are the treasure trove of the science fiction drama. The prophecy and the apocalypse engraved on the stone tablets of the monks also make people imagine. New perspective will also be added to the 7 incredible places in the world, including secrets hidden by ancient people such as the Netherlands, Pekimane, snowmen, mysterious sights and mysterious creatures, mysterious 4-dimensional areas, the Bermuda Triangle, hidden secrets, demon, monsters at a crossroads, demonic rampages, and various other supernominal phenomena, and the connections to different dimensions. The mystery remained of reasoning groups that consistently being discovered on Earth, the Moon, and Mars. There are also new explanations for disks and cosmic beings. It would continue the science theme of Tiga and expand upon it. Can infinite energy can be extracted from a plasma in the atmosphere? For discovery of untouched energy sources, human beings continue to be challenged. Can science control the weather and gravity of the Earth? How far can robots be intelligent? Nanomachines, etc. can be realized. How far has the research on teleportation, time machine has progressed? Because all of these new acquired technologies by humans, there is a conflict with an unknown inside and outside of Earth. How far is biotechnology developed? How much can DNA can be figured out? In the human body, the unknown inner space. How will cloning technology can be handled in future society? What is the origins of human beings? How far we as humans can evolve? How many superpowers, magical elements, phenomenal and phenomena can science actually tackle? Some of the concepts of our titular Ultra connected him to Tiga, one being part of the same ancient civilization, and even once Dyna was supposed to be Tiga's light evolving, while the next two might sound familiar to some of you. The idea of a civilian being the host of the Ultra, and that civilian never joining the defense team, and most of the time trying to keep his identity as the host of the Ultraman a secret from a defense team. I'm sorry that I need to spell it out for you, but it is pretty much one-to-one the story of Ren and June from Ultraman Nexus, being the two only civilian hosts of that titular Ultra, while the other was floating around, and that is making the entire defense team share the light of Dyna, an idea that was floating around from Dyna to Ultraman Cross, which got cancelled and got renamed to Ultraman Nexus. It's super interesting to find these type of things like around Dyna that in the end ended up in Nexus. Design-wise, Hiroshi Maruyama wasn't really told any pointers at first. He was straight up just told to design a new Ultraman. So in a lot of the original concept art, the Ultraman was nameless. He looked like almost like a modern take on the original Ultraman, but with some of Dyna's signature design, if it's the chest piece or even Dyna's moon-crested head. When Maruyama showed his concepts for both Bandai and Tsubara Production, they told him that they want the new Ultraman to have the same type of type change abilities as Tiga. This time, Tsubara Production are going to use a green screen, so they finally can use the color blue for the Ultra. They also told him to make the two type changes look different from each other, body type wise. And this is how we got Dyna's Flash, Strong, and Miracle types. There were some unused concepts for a semi-final form, and even a concept for Hanejiro combining with Dyna to make a weird Hanejiro Dyna fusion form. After this very short talk, let's talk about the show itself. It's been over 7 years since Ultraman Tiga, and humanity's technology have advanced not only for space travel, but also for colonizing other planets that we can inhabit, and humanity decide to call this the Neo-Frontier Era. But with those advancements through space, other aliens would try to conquer Earth. So the TPC rebuild and rechristened Guts to Super Guts to fight the aliens and the mysterious fears that targets Earth's advancement to outer space. Super Guts would fight them with the best of their abilities, but when they are needed, a new light appears to help them in the fight. The dynamic Ultraman Dyna, and its host and protagonist of the show, Shin Asuka. Shin is a kind-hearted, cheerful, and overconfident man. He has a positive attitude towards everything, Sometimes he would try to be funny and rather immature behavior to gain the attention of the Super Gods members. His consideration of the unexpected was always lacking due to his excellent flying ability. He initially overestimated his strength and took pride in it. With the progression of the series and the concept of battling to protect humanity's future, Shin's personality has also become serious and steadfast. As a result, he has progressively matured into a true warrior. At the same time, he has not revealed to anyone his identity of being Ultraman Dyna, and he concealed his inner doubts with his cheerful expression. And for most of the series, he has this will day, one day relationship with Super Gods member Rio. How much early on in the show you can clearly see they were semi also trying to do the same thing with Mai, and they mainly did it because both actors actually dated in real life around that time until they broke up. But Rio and Asuka were the original idea from Hasegawa from the very first get-go. And Hasegawa needed to battle the other riders that tried to hook up Asuka with somebody else or Rio with someone else. Shin was always needed to be reminded about learning to work as a team by using the connection of the time that he used to play baseball before he joined the TPC Academy. Shin's past being a baseball player was actually came into the character because Takeshi Tsuruno, the actor that plays Shin Asuka, in the past was also a baseball player when he was a young kid. Shin is also the son of Kazuma Asuka, a former TPC pilot that was respected by everyone and regarded to be among the best in the organization as a whole. And Shin needed to actually try to escape the shadow of his father's reputation, not only as a man, but also as a pilot, because he mysteriously disappeared. Kazuma participated in the development of the revolutionary new plasma-type jet, which included a zero-drive navigating system that could travel across space at speeds of more 3,000 kilometers per second. He was chosen as the initial experiment test pilot, and when the jet achieved critical velocity during the test, the experiment went awry. A bizarre light tunnel developed in the jet's path, and when Kazuma went in, he just disappeared, with no traces, leaving Shin alone. But almost 10 years later, Captain Hibiki chose Shin to be a part of the test. After failing multiple tests, was hating the development not only now, but also in the past, decided to make Shin leave. But Shin, determined as ever, decided to continue it. Not only because he wanted to finish his dad's last work, but also to overcome him. It's way more about finishing his work and finishing his dad's story. It's mainly that. But Shin, like the immature man that he is, he's putting on a mask to appear to be a tough guy. And Shin stood his ground to actually continue the test. And after a conversation with his dad's best friend / his instructor from the academy, Shin got in. With the wise words of his father, he was able to complete the test. Shin as a character shows us how can we all be heroes if we understand that we have room to grow and none of us are perfect. Shin is practically Hasegawa's first archetype that followed Hasegawa's career until now. Now let's talk about Shin's love interest, Ryo, the ace pilot of Super Gods, who frequently scolded Asuka for his reckless behavior and childish antics. But it turns out in the end, she actually likes the guy inside. She has this really cool thing. There is one thing I find really cool about her, that is she's the only one that flies out in the jet while wearing sunglasses. I don't know, I just find it cool. She acts like a big sister to Supergot's team member Mai, who is less experienced. She once held Guts member Shinjo in high regard, almost like she once had a crush on him. She always puts up a macho appearance, showing everybody that she's nothing to be scared of, but in one of the few episodes that were focused on her, we get to learn about Musugi, once known as a deity of a tribe of soldiers that worshipped him, and before every battle, they prayed for it, making their fear disappear. However, the soldier recognized that being fearless implied having a soul, which was then donated to an assassination and devastation. Musugi was subsequently locked in another pond of ice and buried beneath the earth, never to be seen again. The soldiers vanished as well, and the pond was uncovered and opened 4 centuries later, revealing that it was a mirror. The person that examined that pond is an old friend from college of Rio. Musugi can only be revived by the moon hitting the mirror. It's a thing that sadly the doctor didn't know about because it unleashed Musugi and the doctor got hurt. Rio was already in the way to meet her, where she hears her screams and find her body. And Musugi's shadow passes through her. Seeing her good friend getting hurt triggers something in Rio, and she gets scared. The rest of Supergods believe that she doesn't need to be a part of this mission, but she insists on it. She does go to the laboratory that her friends work at and find something that she wrote that might help them. And with Ryo's interaction with Musugi, Supergods discover where is the spring that Musugi can be revived from, being a building that also Ryo's doctor friend wrote about. Specifically, Musugi being a demon that feed off the fear of warriors, making Supergods target number 1. And when night falls and the moon hits the building, Musugi comes out. Supergods tries to fight it, but Ryo gets distracted and scared and crashes. Dyna arrives to fight it, but he too gets scared. But with the help of Ryo, he was able to defeat the demon. Ryo is a character, is not only a cool badass for little girls and boys to watch and really look up to, but really it shows that you can tell yourself that you're a cool badass. You can show other people that you're really cool and badass, but it doesn't mean that you really are. Again, it's about being an imperfect character and understanding that you're not perfect, because none of us are. And I really liked Ryo's character. The show, specifically when Hasagawa wasn't really leading into, his writers and telling them don't do that, they might tried making her and another person really close to maybe get together. But I really liked Ryo and Asuka's interactions. They were really fun. On to the next one. Then there is Tsutomu Nakajima, Supergods technician and researcher. A fun fact about Nakajima's actor, John Dera. Dyna was in his first tokusatsu show, but actually he was Goro in Kamen Rider Black RX and later did the voice of SD Black RX. He also co-wrote Shin Kamen Rider. Shin Kamen Rider Prologue. And he is the eldest son of Shotaro Ishinomori. And when people talk about the son that helped Ishinomori finalize the design of the original Kamen Rider, they talk about Joe. From time to time, he actually works as a supervisor for some Kamen Rider shows. The last season that he worked on was Kamen Rider Saber. Sad one to go out on. Nakajima as a character frequently takes things too seriously, and also he really likes to eat. He's fat! And frequently he's very sarcastic. Nakajima's family was quite poor when he was a child because of his absent-minded father. Because of this, he began to dislike him, which inspired him to become a respected scientist in the future. He still have respect for his father, nevertheless in his heart. Like his predecessor Hori, there is kind of an overlap with some of the jokes about the two's weight. But here is the funniest thing. Those are the only two that actually got to score, okay? It's kind of funny that the fat boys are the only one that scored. Just saying. But if we compare the two, Nakajima is actually a more competent fighter than Hori. I want to talk about the episode that surrounded Nakajima that I like the best. On his day off, Nakajima went to a fishing vacation. On his way there, he encountered a light going down to a lake. When he asked the team to check it out, they saw nothing out of the ordinary that need their full attention. On the next day, Nakajima goes to the shore with his fishing partner, where they see a lot of dead fish outside of the water, and inside them there was a blue marino. The TPC sent their scientist department to the scene. Nakajima comes to help, but after the marino opens up and Nakajima tries to tell them about it, they kick him out. Later that day, a group of marino kill all the TPC scientists in a very disturbing scene. Luckily for both he and the head of the team, Ryo and Shin, came to the lake because Nakajima requested them to bring him some fried chicken.
He's fat!
They were able to save the main scientists of the team. A large group of marino combined together to make a kaiju, Maricula. Superguts tried to fight it, but they were unsuccessful. But with the help of Nakajima, Dyna was able to defeat Maricula. I absolutely love this episode, mainly for that specific scene where we see all of the marina just eating away at the scientists. There is something like very horror-esque, which I don't know what to say in exception to that was a lot darker than what I expected. Then there is Mai Midoroka, the youngest member of Superguts. She mostly serves as a communication person because of her smarts, so she doesn't go out as often on mission. With her being so young, she could be quite childish and impatient, and she has this reoccurring gag from time to time where she falls in love with someone or something without the second party knowing her, like a baseball player, a cute exploratory robot, a motorcycle racer, etc. She has a lot of great interactions with the rest of Superguts. My favorite interaction actually happens in the episode that I'm going to talk about, where we discover that the TPC have a mascot, Loveboss, a small remote control robot that was supposed to collect samples from Saturn's moon, as well to serve as the agency's new mascot that has a huge fan base throughout Japan and has model kits. Here is the scene.
ごめんね。ごめんね。なんで俺がそんなものに謝らないといかんのだ。
Lovemos comes upon an ancient musical instrument that when wind blew through it, played a tune inaudible to humans. Following that, Lovemos went on an attack and ruined the planet's TPC equipment. Mai and Nakajima were tasked with opening its processor when it comes back to Earth in order to reactivate the robot and discover what transpired. When Mai managed to crack the password for the processor, Lovemos told Mai everything before they went on a berserk once more. After making its getaway, Lovemos cut away all of the power for the Superguts base and took their mecha and combined with it to form Evil Lovemos. Hibiki made the decision to use the Guts Wing to combat it, but with the armor of Evil Lovemos, proved to be too strong for him, Dyna emerged from Shin and tried to use its beam, but the evil Lavmos's single all-out attack overcame it and brought Dyna to the ground. However, proved to be too quick for evil Lavmos to handle, he switched into Miracle type, at least until he got caught and was about to attack him with one of his chest drills. The alien musical instrument was retrieved by Ryo and Kiria, just as evil Lavmos was attempting to kill Dyna. After tries from Kiria weren't successful, they convinced Mai to play the instrument, which turned Lavmos back to his normal self. After that, Lavmos begged for Dyna to kill him, but he refused and took off. This was amazing. Like, I actually really loved that episode, and it shows how much this world is weird, because why the fuck military organization has a mascot that has Gunpla? I love it. But focusing on Mai and not really showing her as this stupid and young individual, but showing how much she's very much the heart of the team was great. I loved it. Kiria is the archaeology specialist of Supergods. He's very concerned about preserving the environment, and he has this reputation for being largely stoic, extremely obedient, and predisposed to superstition. He exhibits strong passion for history and the protection of extinct animals. As a character, he doesn't really get a lot. He just feels like a background character, just another member of Supergods. He doesn't get as many episodes surrounding him. Mainly he gets 1.5 if you really think about it. But when the spotlight does hit on him, he's a fine character. He's not the best out of Supergods, but hey, he's there. The only episode that he truly got the spotlight as the main focus of is episode 10, when a young child is playing and when he unintentionally enters the Akizaki residence, he discovers 3 demonic figures performing a ritual in the garden. Over the rigid sky, the 3 kaijins call forth the kaiju Dextor. 2 jets were launched, but the kaiju quickly destroyed them, and Dextor disappeared without a trace. Kiria noticed the attacker's striking resemblance to the geoglyph Dextor, and after viewing the visual footage transmitted by one of the jets, he understood who to go to. Dr. Akizaki, who formerly served as Kiria's professor and mentor, was traveling through the mountains 3 years ago when he unexpectedly came across an antique device. The young boy just informed Supergods of the Kaijin ritual over the phone. Kiria discovered that the point of the ritual has taken place on his former teacher's property, so he travels to the town to conduct an investigation. Kiria was welcomed by the doctor, but grew suspicious after their conversation. He started leaving, but returned to spy on the house, where he found the Akizakis were imprisoned by an alien species that can actually copy the appearance and DNA of human. He discovered it all from the doctor telling him that, and also telling him that he accidentally revived the 3 when he got a hold of the ancient device. Kiria contacted Supergods, who freed the trapped Kazakis and Kiria and stopped the kaiju. Supergods thought they won, but the demonic figures revived Dextor. So Shinasuka transformed into Dyna and defeated Dextor, after Ryo and Kiria killed the 3 aliens that were controlling it. Later that evening, the doctor tells Kiria that he was traumatized by the experience and he no longer desired to study geoglyph. But the doctor eventually changed his mind after Kiria, the doctor's daughter, and his wife told them that shouldn't stop him. It was a fine episode, but like this being the only episode that really focused on Kirya kind of shows how much Kirya as a character was just an addition to just have more characters in Super Guts. I don't know. Then there is the level-headed right-hand man to Captain Hibiki, Koda, that was actually promoted halfway through the season, which at the time was pretty new. Koda is a serious nature person who takes his role as second in command very seriously. He's often calm and level-headed, however, he can sometimes lose his cool when personal matters are involved. Koda looked up to the original deputy captain of Guts, Sechi. I really like that the show began with Super Guts not having a vice captain, but in episode 33, he was appointed to that role. Captain Hibiki was supposed to leave for some time, so he needed to appoint someone to lead the team when he would be gone. So, as a test, he asked Koda if he would need to sacrifice the life of a few to save the many. Koda wasn't sure what to answer. Hibiki pretty much tells him that in battle, he can't think about what he feels, but what is necessary at the moment. In space, Hibiki and the TPC staff are inside a new spacecraft, but a kaiju flies over and eats the spacecraft with the two inside. After discovering that the two are inside the kaiju's belly, Super Guts don't really know what to do, fearing that if they would shoot the kaiju, they would kill Hibiki. They try to capture the kaiju, but to no avail, and the kaiju is slowly closing to their base. Koda, understanding what they need to do, after seeing Hibiki shot the SOS signal, he understands that they need to use the final Mega Launcher, to Shin's disapproval. Koda prepares the team for a mission while Hibiki and the TPC staffer are waiting for the end, with Hibiki knowing what's going to happen and accepting it, while the staffer is worried but calmed down by the captain. Koda still questions himself if he's doing the right thing, while Shin goes out and tries to make the monster leave the perimeter of the base. And when it doesn't work, he transforms into Dyna, but none of his attacks work. And when the team is preparing to shoot the final Mega Launcher, Koda flies in with a glider and flies straight into the monster and shoots it in the horn that restores powers to the spacecraft, but the kaiju heals itself. With the kaiju holding Koda, Dyna fuses with the Guts Eagle and helps destroy the kaiju and save Koda, Hibiki, and the TPC staffer. In the end of the episode, Captain Hibiki promotes Koda to be Super Guts' deputy officer. Koda, like Rio, is a character that kind of presents to us that, oh yeah, you can be in an occupation for years, but you can be fearful, you can be distracted, you can actually question what you're doing as a worker or just as a person, where Rio is very much kind of like this big sister type of feel. Koda very much represent like a parent more than anyone else, specifically where the actor was a parent when the show actually came out. Like, I genuinely really liked Koda as a character. He was one of the characters that I really connected to very early in the show. Then there is Hibiki, the captain of the team. He's boisterous, loud, and frequently joking with his subordinates and shouting orders. Nonetheless, he's a caring leader with a good heart and good intentions for his Super Guts members. And surprisingly, he has a daughter. One of my favorite episodes that surround the captain is episode 43. That connects not only Dyna more to Tiga, but also really shows us that Hibiki was around when Tiga was around. And also that episode is some sort of a loose continuation to episode 18 of Ultraman Dyna. When Goza returned and starting to attack the city, Hibiki, still being a captain of a squad in the TPC, saved and comforted a little girl that lost her parents. From that day, he always sent her letters and things to the orphanage that she lives in, and signing the letters with the name Captain Longlegs. In this episode, Hibiki tries to teach Shin about controlling his emotions. After 9 years, Goza emerges from the volcano and starts attacking the area with the girls' orphanage, where a group of boys decide to leave the group to go out and see lava. And when super guides arrive to the area, Shin and Hibiki find the girl, and all three of them go out to look for the boys. And when they find them and the kids refuse to come with them, Hibiki tells Shin and the girl to leave the kids be and just have the monster destroy them, to pretty much make them afraid and just come with them. After a long walk, Hibiki sees Golza and he tells the girl and Shin to just go back to the camp and he would take care of the monster. But he's unsuccessful. So the girl tells Shin that it's fine and he should go out and help Hibiki and she would live with the kids. Shin transforms into Dyna. At first, his attack didn't phase Golza, pretty much bouncing back at him. But Shin remembers Hibiki's speech about controlling your emotion and about fighting actually with your emotion and not fighting because of your emotion. And he was able to crack Golza's thick skin and defeats him with his beam. Hibiki and the girl reunite and she thanks him for everything that he has done. Hibiki as a character is really interesting because he's the complete opposite of Iruma. He's a lot more on the field. He's a lot more of a character. Iruma, how much I love her, and she's still one of my favorite characters in Tiga. She was very stoic. Hibiki leaves an impression on you from the very first get-go. And I love him. Like, his actor is like really good. And there are points that he just returned in Ultraman, but like not as Hibiki. But I always look at him and it's like, you're Hibiki. What are you doing here? Then there is Hanejiro, being kinda the first defense team mascot. He was found alone on a planet that changes to the explorers that visit it. His masters had died and he was pretty much left alone until Nakajima and Shin found him and nursed his wounds. In return, he shows them the monster that this planet has, and its purpose is to eliminate the visitors of the planet. When it gets launched, Nakajima and Shin separate. Hanejiro helps Shin to bring him his life flasher to transform into Dyna. Hanejiro helps Dyna with showing him the monster's weak spot that helps him to defeat it. And that's pretty much it. Hanejiro is just kind of like an alien that semi-meow and talking pew noises. I don't really know how to say it. But my biggest problem with Hanejiro, and that is the show just from time to time forgets that he exists and he doesn't show up. And it's like, you're here. Yeah, I kind of forgot that you existed. And even when he doesn't show up in an episode, the show never mentioned him. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And for the thing that I truly love about Ultraman Dyna, and that is Dyna himself. As an Ultra, he was one of the few Ultras that never really had a concrete backstory. It was always implied that Dyna is Shin's dad. After that test drive, he disappeared because he was just turned into the light of Dyna. And it was always implied, it was never fully said. There were moments in the show where Shin Asuka's dad was talking to Asuka, but you can kind of say that, oh, it was just Shin's imagination kind of doing it to him. But in the 2020 novelization, Ultraman Dyna Zero Drive to the Future, that was written by Hasagawa, it was fully revealed that after Shin's dad went missing, he just transformed into Dyna's light, meaning that Shin's dad was always with him in his journey to becoming the true hero of the galaxy, which is genuinely nice to hear. And for the spheres being one of the first kind of return to having an actual main bad guy for the series was really interesting, but the show never really fully went on with it. They were used in a lot of the first couple of episodes of the show, and they were very important to the biggest of their extent was in the final arc of the show. But that was it, not a lot in the middle. To tell the truth, they were used better in Decker than Dyna overall. Like its predecessor Ultraman Tiga, Ultraman Dyna is semi-episodic. But this time it feels different, with more 2 and 3-parters than Tiga, more reoccurring characters, exploring more of the universe, and Dyna's connection to Tiga makes it feel slightly more serialized than its predecessor. The first 2 episodes serve as a 2-parter. In episode 1, the show presents to us how humans have evolved since Ultraman Tiga ended, with them going outside of Earth, searching for more planets to inhabit. This marks a new age in human evolution, and this is where the show coined the phrase Neo Frontier Era. And this is how we get introduced to Shin, at the time still a student at the Zero Training Squad, finding his classmate Takeru Fudo before their class final test, where just one of them would able to join Super Guts. And this is where we find out what Subara Production did with the old Guts uniform. And this is what they're doing with the old Guts wing. In the middle of the test, a group of spheres started attacking the students, Ryo and Koda. All of the students die, in exception to Shin, that almost dies in space, but was saved by the light of Dyna. Because he was the last student that survived the attack, he was named the newest member of Super Guts. The TPC Mars base was attacked by a sphere monster, so Super Guts fly out to the base. Shin tries to attack the monster when it was exposed, but his jet gets shot down, and because of that, Koda gets injured. Shin gets out of the jet trying to fire at the monster, but it doesn't phase it, until Shin was engulfed by a light and transformed into Dyna to end the first episode. So having no actual Ultraman fight in the first episode is quite new. I even may tend to believe that this was the first time that Ultraman did that, and then later was followed by Ultraman Gaian that did the same thing along with Ultraman Nexus. Episode 2 takes place straight after episode 1, being the continuation of the fight between Shin and the monster, where Dyna wins. Later in the episode, Super Guts does give Dyna a name, which comes from Dynamic. But tell you the truth, Kirya had a very interesting name to give to Dyna.
Ultraman Super Deluxe.
The spheres devise a plan. A group of them would cause trouble in space to distract Super Guts, where another flea would fly down to Earth to create a new monster. Where at that time the only Super Guts soldier that could have fought the monster was Ryo. But with the help of the Zero Training School and Dyna, they were able to defeat it. This episode continues the great interaction with the cast and developing the world that the people live in, that get to see Dyna and actually have him compared to Tiga. And that scene where all of the members of Super Guts try to give Dyna a name was kinda fun, than just one member of Guts just deciding to give Tiga the name Tiga. Let's talk about other episodes that I like Episode 16. After Shin rescued Hanejiro, Dr. Amato was checking on him to see if everything was fine. Nakajima and Shin came to visit Hanejiro, where the doctor's assistant informs his teacher that he has been ordered to appear in the South Europe branch court of inquiry on the next day. Superguts discovered that the doctor has fled with Hanejiro on his personal plane. Kora, Ryo, Kiria, Nakajima, and Shin headed towards the region, a zone with an intense magnetic field. Shin, Kora, Nakajima find themselves on an uncharted island, where they see Shieldron and Silvergon fighting, and Silvergon eventually defeats Shieldron. The trio spot the assistant spying on them from a distance. Superguts give a chase and catch the assistant, who escorts Kora and Nakajima to the doctor's laboratory. The doctor reveals his plan to create clone kaiju by extracting Hanejiro's intelligent genes and inserting them into the hyper-clone kaiju Neosaurus to create the ultimate kaiju. But before he can continue with the extraction, Shin blows apart the wall of the lab. However, in doing so, he attracts the attention of the clone Silvergon. The doctor quickly escapes and deploys Neosaurus in order to defend the lab. The two beasts duel, but Silvergon has no match to Neosaurus' pure brawn and quickly gets defeated. In act of proof of its lack of intelligence, Neosaurus kills the doctor. Shin tries to attack the kaiju but winds up getting destroyed. But he was able to transform into Dyna at the last moment. Dyna was outmatched by the Chimera kaiju, but when Dyna transforms into Strong type to level up the playing field, he is still struggling against Neosaurus' power. Using its own helix beam against it, Dyna managed to amputate Neosaurus' tail before finishing it off. Afterwards, Nakajima and Koda mourns the death of the Doctor and Asuka. At that moment, however, Shin reveals that he is still alive, claiming that he ejected in the nick of time. The three relaxes for a long day, playing with Hanejiro on the island. I really enjoyed this episode, not only seeing more of Hanejiro and seeing Shin interacting with Hanejiro, and there were some really funny moments, and Neosaurus as a kaiju was really cool. It had a lot of tribute to the 10th episode of the original Ultraman, with a crazy doctor that creates a monster, and his creation turns on him. Episode 39 continues the story of episode 16, with the doctor's assistant trying to continue the crazed doctor's work. He wished to strengthen the body of Earth's life form, as well as exact his revenge against Superguts. So, to begin his vengeance, he stole a sample of evil cells, which were modified by the assistant himself, and later used them to create a clone of a kaiju. After the clone was destroyed, the assistant threatened to release a warhead containing the perfected evil cells across the world. Superguts sends Shin alongside a member of the TPC's newest secret team, being Black Buster Corps, Kenji Fudo, the youngest brother of Takeru, Shin's old classmate, to find and arrest the assistant. The main part of the episode is Shin and Kenji clashing with their ideology of how they need to handle the situation, with Shin wanting to do it by the book, while Kenji wants to do it violently. While at the same time, Kenji still holds a grudge over his brother passing, believing that Shin is in guts because of it. In the most tense point of the episode, Shin gets trapped and the assistant tells them how he feels after losing the doctor. Kenji tells him that he understands how he feels, but because Kenji's time with Shin in this episode, he tells the assistant that what he's doing is the wrong thing, and they got into a standoff where Kenji gets shot and the assistant, fueled by evil cells, transforms into a kaiju. Shin escapes the barrier and rescues Kenji by transforming into Dyna. He and the monster fight. Dyna defeats the kaiju and the missile that was headed to Earth that was full of evil cells. Kenji thanks Shin for helping him. How much he doesn't know how he got rescued, but he hopes to serve in Super Guts with him. This was a genuinely emotional episode using characters that connects to Shin's past and showing us how much Shin grew as a hero. But also the connection to the 16th episode was amazing. Using the doctor's assistant, showing how much the doctor really influenced the assistant, was an amazing idea. And introducing the Black Buster Corp shows how much the TPC has changed from Tiga, with them actually trying to replace Super Guts. And with their cloak jets, their dark blue uniforms, you can kind of see the Black Buster Corp being a semi-prototype for the Night Raiders from Nexus. In episode 14, Kirya and a team came to investigate a planet, where they discover a tomb. Kirya gets possessed by the alien that sleeps in the tomb, that was once called the King of Space. The possessed Kirya used the Super Guts machinery for his plan to destroy Earth, but was halted by his old enemies, 3 assassins, that they possessed the rest of the team, and tried to kill the Space King again. But this time they failed. The Space King quickly leaves the scene and turns giant size on the moon, using all the kaiju body. Dyna soon appears and the two fight, while the 3 assassins open the king's tomb, being his only weakness. Kirya used the sacred sword previously used to kill the king centuries ago and stabbed the center of the king's corpse. The king was weakened and Dyna finished the fight, turning into strong type and punching the king square in the chest, sending the king flying out to space before exploding. This episode was genuinely fun, and it had the first time where Kirya gets possessed by an alien. But I really like the moment where it feels like we are on the last wire and the good guys really need to pull it off. It actually worked. In episode 17, a ship flies over Japan and takes people's soul and leaving the people unconscious. Ryo sees a kid in the area and she tries to save him, but she gets in the crossfire of the ship and it takes her soul. The team thought that the only way to release the souls is to get into the ship, but when Kota and Shin enter the ship, Ryo tells them that there is no way to release them. The zombified captain of the ship takes Kota's soul, but Shin transforms into Dyna to avoid the same fate. He defeats the zombie and grows large to fight the ship. At first, Flash type wasn't getting the job done, so he turned into Miracle type to get the upper hand and destroy the ship, retrieving everybody else's soul. This episode was really fun and really memorable, mainly because the 2 monsters that appeared in this episode. And now to the other most memorable episode of the season, being episode 31. One day, Monster Augur 2 suddenly appears in Japan, but at the same time, another Dyna appears alongside 4 swords. But this time, Dyna's mannerism is different. He's a lot more showboaty, playing out to the crowd. The weird part about it, the crowd doesn't even notice the difference, except one girl that tried in this episode to extort a tour in the TPC headquarters out of Shin with a picture that she took of him taking a break on a patrol. The alien that took the form of Dyna introduces himself to Shin as George from the planet M16, a martial artist that wanders across the universe looking for the strongest fighters. When he heard about Earth's Ultraman Dyna, he had to come to challenge him. He tells Shin the time to start their duel, and when their duel begins, George takes the form of Dyna. At first, George is overpowering Shin, while the crowd are watching alongside Superguts, waiting to see which Dyna is the real one. This is where they discover that the sword creates some sort of boundaries, like a ring, when it looks bad for Shin, but the girl tells the crowd of people that they're cheering for the wrong Dyna, and she convinces them to start cheering for Shin. But George shoots at the crowd, at least he tries to, but Shin jumps in and taking the blast. This is where Superguts understand who is the real Dyna and shoots George. The crowd continues to cheer Shin, and their cheers helps Asuka to give him a power boost, and Shin goes blow to blow with George, and Shin slowly gets the upper hand, while Dyna's opening is playing in the background. Oh, it's so good. And when the two punch each other in the face, the music stops. The only thing you can hear is Dyna's color timer blinking and George's Dyna disguise break apart. He congratulates Shin for his win, telling him that this is what true strength look like. And he leaves. This is the most synonymous episode in the entirety of the season of Dyna. It still gets referenced. Hey, it got a really cool statue release. It was this prototypical hero in peril story where Shin needs to understand what's true strength and where his strengths come from, and also having the crowd cheering for Ultraman, because it always needs to have that one episode. In episode 33, an investigator is skeptical of TPC's policies and believes that they brought more darkness than light to humanity, while a young girl asks him to help her investigate a group of roller skater punks who have turned goody two-shoes. After the investigation doesn't go as planned, they fight. The girl leaves, but returns the next day to tell him that she has found something in an abandoned warehouse. The investigator, Hibiki, and Shin go to the warehouse and are captured by an alien who's using the youth's rebellious energy to create a monster to conquer Earth. This is where we discover that the young girl is actually Hibiki's daughter. The rest of Superguts help to release the Free, and Shin transforms into Dyna to fight the monster and defeat it, alongside with the help of Hibiki, releasing the youth's rebellious energy. This was a stupid episode, at least the idea that the alien really needed the youth's rebellious energy to create a monster. That was dumb, but it had this weird noir feeling to it with the investigator and Hibiki's daughter playing more of an integral, almost protagonist role in this episode. I really did enjoy the two because they had like really great chemistry. It's kind of funny that she has better chemistry with the investigator than the person that plays her dad, Hibiki. I'm just saying. Then there is the obligatory Akio Soji episode. But here's the funniest part. There is just one episode, but he puts all of his creative vision, if it's camera positioning, using weird filters, shadow, visual effects into one episode. Specifically, episode 38. A kaiju that was created by a writer and an alchemist, Hiroya Narumari's screenplay brought to life, with the intention of turning the world into a stage. Superguts investigate Bonder's appearance and finds drawing in Hiruya's files, depicting their own team and events that have unfolded. Unbeknownst to them, they are being observed by a teddy bear with a red flashing eye. While Bonder's head emerges and Shin Asuka stumbles into a mysterious dimension, they encounter an actor that reveals his involvement with Hiruya's monster-themed play. Bonder attacks the city with its tentacle, prompting Superguts to engage in battle. The actor involved with Hiruya's plan recall a scene where a Baroque pearl was used to create the kaiju. Hiruya sealed the ending of the play before disappearing. As Superguts fights Bonder, Asuka is captured by Hiruya and his accomplice, but is freed when the sealed ending is rediscovered. Dyna confronts Bonder, ultimately defeats it by impaling itself on its own tentacle. Despite Bonder's defeat, there is a suggestion that Hiruya may be planning another kaiju play in the world between dreams and reality. This was just like a bonkers episode. Like, I don't know what to say. It was just bonkers. There is episodes like episode 9 that really feel like almost like a mid-season finale, where a kaiju appears and threatens a solar power facility, but Dyna defeats it. But the pieces of the kaiju flow down a stream and transforms into a small swarm of the same kaiju that starts consuming electricity. Superguts defeat the swarm, but with a lot of firepower and an idea that came from Nakajima. Asuka believes that the appearance of the kaiju was a reminder from Earth about true darkness outside of artificial lights. Hibiki reminds the team that humans must press and seek the light for the future. This is one of the most memorable episodes for me. I don't know why, but I absolutely love it. And also, Don Brothers reference. Then there is the actual kind of mid-season finale episode, being episode 25 and 26, Clock of Won't Surface, which is such an amazing episode. I don't know really how to recap it in a very short variety because this episode is very long right now. Pretty much it sets the Superguts team in situations that they're uncomfortable with, that they are not used to, and it really shows how much our team has grown as people, as humans. And also it's the episode that brings the best ending song in Ultraman to the season, and episode 26 was the last time until the finale that they actually used that song. So yeah, go watch Clock of Won't Surface. It's really good. I don't know what to say. This episode is almost an hour long. Then there are the episodes that actually are some sort of a continuation to Tiga's story. Specifically, let's say episode 19. That is a continuation of episode 15 of Tiga, where the monster Gozorta uses an electricity cloud that kills everyone that was boarding on a plane. One of them, Mayumi's boyfriend. So, episode 19 picks up pretty much 9 years later, where Mayumi still dreams about her boyfriend and the memories they shared. But then she starts dreaming about the prophecy of Kakukacha, aka past tragedies repeating itself. She was worried about it after learning it. After talking to Shin about it, he comforts her, and she feels relief that her boyfriend had a brother that also is a motorcycle racer. But he feels like he can't feel his brother's shoes. But when that specific kaiju that is a part of the prophecy began destroying the city, Mayumi accidentally rescued Mai and her boyfriend's younger brother. After witnessing Dyna defeats the monster, she reunites with her lover again. Later, when she returns to the racetrack, she believed that even though history may repeat itself, it will slowly change to a new direction. Thus, she emerges from her sadness and moves forward again. This was an amazing continuation and conclusion to Mayumi's story. How much there is some things that I wish that the show didn't do. Specifically, making the boyfriend a weird ghost of vengeance that saves them somehow? I don't get it. Is he Ghost Rider? But yeah, overall, this episode was great. I genuinely enjoyed it. I genuinely love the idea that, yeah, like there is actual consequences from people that died in Tiga that are kind of still mourning over their deaths. And also it was really great to see Mayumi back in an actual higher position than last time that we saw her in Tiga. Then there is the episode that actually used the biggest portion of Tiga's cast. In exception to Reina, Daigo, and June. It was the two-parter Smile of Destruction, being episode 35 and 36, mainly focusing on Hori, while the other members join later. It's almost like a Where They Are Now type of episode. As Guts officially disbanded, Hori returned to his role as a researcher for a private enterprise and a consultant for the TPC Science Bureau Development Department. Hori assisted in the development of the Cosmo Network project, a system of satellites that monitors Earth, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune all at once. During a test around the moon of Mars, a strange face was found. This strange face was recovered and sent to Earth for analysis. However, the artifact revealed to be none other than a piece of sphere that attacked months before. After Guts officially disbanded, Shinjo became a member of the TPC Space Development Bureau, inheriting the will of his deceased friend, and was appointed as a pilot to conduct exploration around the solar system. During the mission to explore Pluto, he sent an image of Miss Smile on the planet back to Earth, and after quickly lost communication. But he was successfully returned to Earth with the help of Superguts. Superguts had no choice but to release their cargo and crash land, where the sphere pieces change into Geomos. With Geomos emerging from Earth, Superguts attacked them with all they got, only for the alien rock mutant to reflect their assault with its sound field. With Superguts unable to harm Geomos, Asuka transformed to do battle with it. Dyna was outnumbered by Geomos' attack until its lightning managed to hit him, and Dyna went to Miracle type. Using one of his attacks, Geomos' trans-dimensional barrier to neutralize it and continue his assault on the hero. Shin gets defeated and loses his life flasher, while Geomos is running rampant in the city. Hori teams up with Nakajima and implants a tracking device on Geomos before he runs away. At the TPC HQ, the show implants seeds of Goto's plan to learn more about Dyna's power, but he gets stopped by Iruma, telling everyone in the room that studying the light would not help them, and they need to figure out everything on their own. She wants to be on the front line, but Shiji, that is currently an instructor in the TPC's West Asia branch, was asked to help. Shin and Shinjo did get to have a little talk before they got out. Shinjo and Shin reconcile and start over. Shinjo tells him that he sees a lot himself in him and he can defeat his enemies alone. Superguts, the TPC, Hori, Shinjo, repping their old Guts uniform, flying in the Guts wing, are in the area where Geomos, and they all attack it. And when it looked like they defeated it, they just destroyed his shell to evolve to Neo Geamos. Shiichi comes in to help them with the kaiju. While all of this is going on, Hori's two kids found Shin's life flasher and ask a news reporter to help them to find Dyna. The helicopter lands and the two run off. And they actually run straight to Shin. And he asks them to give him the life flasher and he would give it to Dyna, which helps them transform to Dyna and do battle with the kaiju. And with the help of the old Guts members and Super Guts, they are able to defeat Neo Geamos. This episode was like really fun. Having a good portion of Tiga's cast all together was really cool seeing all of the characters interacting with each other was great. Seeing how much that scene between Shinjo and Shin really felt like it was very much supposed to be Daigo and Shin. It felt like, there is someone missing. That's kind of the main problem of those two parters, and that is like, someone's missing. Interesting who it is. How much it's kind of weird because like I understand like Daigo and Jude, specifically their actors being in Johnny's, but like they could have had Reina. I get she was on Mars, but she could have been there. Like, but also I kind of wish I would have seen more of Iruma, more of Shinji. Like those are characters that I really enjoyed, but like they got like a minute and a half. I don't know, but hey, it was really cool. And the other problem that I had with this episode was like they made Hori a workaholic where he misses a lot of important moments in his kid's life and his kids are two brats. Yeah, like they're good kids, but they can be brats from time to time. But I don't know, I don't care, like I genuinely enjoyed it. It actually like gave me some warm fuzzy feeling in my heart, specifically when they used Brave Love and Tiga. Again, they could have used anything else. They couldn't choose anything else. What they're going to use? Take Me Higher? Ha! No! There is one more episode I want to talk about. And that is episode 20. In the Kiragan star system, a space satellite observed an unusual event where an icy planet merged with a larger planet. Miss Kishi, seeing this on the news, informed her son Satoru about it. As Satoru studies the abnormality of the planet Vividera, Superguts receive a brief alien signal. At the playground, Satoru reveals his true alien nature to his friends, which alarmed Superguts again. However, the two boys actually remained loyal to their friendship and promised to keep the presence of Lazata a secret. Satoru recalled that time long ago when planet Lazata entered a glacier period. Its inhabitants were forced to migrate across space, assuming the sky is based on the native species they settled on to. Since then, their race established two oaths. Firstly, they returned to Lazata if the planet threw out. Secondly, if Lazata was destroyed, the children who reached the age of 5 in Lazata years, equivalent to 10 years old in Earth years, would revert to their original forms and gathered at a specific point in a specific constellation to search for a new home planet. If a young Lazata individual refuses to transform, they would remain permanently stuck in their disguise for life. Satoru's late father and grandfather had also lived on Earth for a long time, in addition to his mother. When Satoru accidentally transformed to his true form, his mother telepathically alerted him of Superguts' arrival, but his friends managed to cover for him at the last minute. The three decided to visit a shrine where Satoru meets Shin, who already knew about his true identity and purpose. During the night, the three boys broke into a research center. Satoru's friends bid him farewell as Satoru transformed. However, Satoru was unable to fly and became frightened when he was confronted by Super Guts. When the team mistakenly believed that his friends were in danger, they opened fire, prompting Asuka to transform in order to save the young Sato, assuring Sato of his future. Dyna guides and helps the alien to find his way off the planet. The two friends have decided to become astronauts and scientists in the future with the hope in reaching Satoru. This genuinely hit me in the feels. Having a kid figure out that he's an alien and he needs to leave his home in 2 days is an interesting plot point, and having his friends wanting to spend time with him until he leaves was genuinely touching, and their moments together suggesting what he should talk about when he gets to the place was great. And Satoru's conversation with Shin in the middle of the episode was great, and even better, the conversation that ended the episode. And it was really cool to see an episode where the Ultraman doesn't need to fight the big alien, because sometimes it's just a small story in the big world of Ultraman, because this is what Ultraman is really about. It's about the small characters from time to time. It's not supposed to be about the big fights. It's about how much the universe is actually a lot smaller than what you think. And I implore all of you to act on Shin's speech. No one knows your future. Do you know why? Because this is for you to create. No matter what, no matter when, your future is yours to create with your own 2 hands. Remember that. Nothing is out of your control. Go ahead and do what you love. There are a lot more episodes I would have loved to talk about, but this video is an hour long. It's close to 2 hours, so I should probably stop at 20. But there are episodes like 27, when an alien creates a game that kids can build real kaiju that are made to defeat Dyna, or the 2 episodes surrounding a comedy alien trio that are on Earth to try to take over it. Once by hiding their base of operation as a vinyl figure manufacturer, while on the other they try to use a writer on a toku show that's inside the world of Neo Frontier, but it's not connected to Super Art production, to show them how to write a scenario where they defeat Dyna, or when a pile of trash becomes sentient and transforms into a kaiju. But that's it. I'm done. Now let's talk about the show's visual and sound department. I absolutely love Dyna's soundtrack, specifically the Super Guts Deploy theme that harkens back to the old vocal bands from the show era. And there are more like great songs that literally are still stuck in my mind that I absolutely love. Dyna's opening is titled Ultraman Dyna, and it is an absolutely amazing and really damn catchy. The lyrics describe the heroic figure of Dyna and his mission to fight for justice. The song emphasizes the importance of protecting others and not giving up, even in the face of challenges. It conveys a sense of determination and the belief that true peace can only be achieved by trusting the power of Ultraman and fighting for what is right. Dyna had 2 ending themes. The first one being You Alone, I Want to Protect, a fantastic rock ballad that in this point in the year of 2023 is more synonymous with Dyna than the actual opening is. You Alone, I Want to Protect is a thing that Shin used to say. Also, Takeshi Tsuruno, the actor that played Ultraman Dyna, did cover it for the Ultraman Saga movie. So with that, and with the Saga movie being kind of popular, that version of the song is slightly more recognizable for a lot of newer Ultraman fans that haven't still gotten to see Dyna. And the least we're going to talk about the Voyager version, the better. The lyrics express the desire to protect and cherish someone special. The song emphasizes the importance of love, courage, and not giving up on your dreams. The song highlights the belief that as long as there is hope and determination, the world would continue and dreams would come true. The lyrics convey a sense of longing and warmth of precious memories. And then there is the second ending theme being Ultra High, a song that I'm going to say it's literally one of the worst ending themes in Ultraman's history. I don't like it. It feels like it was supposed to be the song for the Tiga Dyna movie, but they accidentally swapped it, mainly because it doesn't really feel like an upgrade or even a continuation of the first ending theme. I don't know. The lyrics convey the sense of power and energy and determination. The song celebrates the strength and ability of Ultraman Dyna as a hero. The lyrics emphasizes the theme of love, peace, and the pursuit of dreams. Dyna is portrayed as this symbol of unwavering strength and courage, dedicating to protect love and peace. But the constant singing of the word Ultra High is literally annoying. I want to correct a mistake that I made in my Gaia video, and that is that Gaia brought back the insert themes. Dyna had three to correlate to 3 of Dyna's type changes, but they used Strong's ones and Miracle's ones. They never used Flash. Like, I don't know what to say. Those are fine songs, but I don't really want to talk about them because they were barely used in the season. And they were like fine songs. They're very shallow. I don't know, they're not on the level of Power of Gaia and Blue Wolf, but I'm not going to really dive deep into Shining on Love, but it is a really good theme, and you should listen to it. Now let's talk about the suits. I absolutely love Dyna's suit, with the really great color combination of red, blue, and silver, while the gold chest piece combining with the color timer looks really cool. And I absolutely love the uniqueness of Dyna's kind of moon crest shape head. It looks really cool and it gives Dyna a really cool silhouette. And now with Dyna, when he changes types, he gets a different body. It actually emphasizes how different each and every suit is. Not only body-wise, physique-wise specifically, but also patterns. Because like Tiga was mainly like, oh, I would just change to red, or oh, I would just change into purple, and nothing like pattern-wise changed on him. Strong actually looks like he is strong, while Miracle type was a lot slimmer and his blue pattern was a lot thinner, so it actually portrayed that he was a lot faster. I don't know, I absolutely love it. And I also love that they didn't just presented all of Dyna's forms straight up in the first episode like Tiga did. I know I'm comparing Dyna to Tiga in this specific section, but come on, like Dyna is very much an upgrade after Tiga. And also having Flash type be the only form that he actually gets the chest plate. I like Dyna's design, it looks really cool. In my opinion, Dyna has one of the really coolest looking monster suits, like the Spider Sphere monster, Darambia, and its evolved form Neo Darambia. The really cool looking Shieldron being a weird bug mech, the fungi monster Fungus, the really cool flying ancient monster Dextor, the artificial monster Mons Augur, the alien thief Himela, the really interesting homage to Dada being Garagon, the man-made Neosaurus, the devil himself, Bishamel, Sodom, a monster that I really want to see back now, but teaming with Gomorrah, being both kaiju's name are from the Bible of cities that were destroyed, and the semi-sequel to Gazorta being Kokakcho, and the really creepy and weird-looking Milekas, the crab kaiju Rekubas, the rock sphere monster Geomes, the monster drama monster Bonder, and the shape-shifting monster Marovia, and the movie exclusive and really cool looking robot Death Phaser. But I can go on and on and on about monster suits. I will just stop here. This video is almost 2 hours long. What the fuck? On September 6, 1997, Dyna debuted on Japanese TV, where its first episode got a 9%, and the ratings of the show stuck between 8.2 at the highest and 3.0 at the lowest. Fans' reaction were quite split for this show, with the young audience loving the show's more light-hearted tones with the bits of Tiga's drama elements, where the more adult audience saw the change of tone as a step back from what Tiga did. The ratings of the show did good enough, with really good toy sales, set the Ultraman franchise to continue moving forward. Dyna, like its TDG counterparts, also got a spin-off movie, with the return of Hanjiro, but the difference between Tiga's film being set far in the future, where pretty much none of the original cast were in the movie, and Gaia being set a year later, Dyna's was actually set between episode 47 and 48. The story is mainly Hanjiro returns to Earth to warn Supergods about a new monster that wants to destroy it, but he gets in the hand of the comedy alien trio that helps Supergods and Dyna to defeat the monster, but comedically tries to turn on them, but ultimately fail. The biggest problem, which is way more of a continuity problem with the movie, and that is the movie was filmed after the show had finished, almost a year later, so pretty much most of the cast look completely different, specifically Rio and Mai having two completely different haircuts between those two episodes that genuinely never got explained. Unlike his counterpart Daigo Madoka, Shin Asuka did return in several other Ultra projects, like the Mega Monster Battle movies, Ultraman Orb's prequel series, Orb Origin Saga, and the already mentioned Ultraman Saga, which was the final time that pretty much the entire cast of Dyna were in the same room together, or at least in the same film together, in exception to Mai's actress that couldn't appear because she was pregnant. In 2022/3, Takeshi Tsuruno, the actor that portrayed Shin Asuka, became the ambassador of the Ultra Hero Expo 2023 Summer Festival, where he returned in a video message talking to the newest Ultra, being Decker, and even interacting with the actor on some stage shows, and even returning to do an interview in the Decker Blu-ray set. In 2022, Dyna has celebrated its 25th anniversary, with Bandai releasing an SH figure arts of the Ultra and the Live Flasher Ultra replica, while Subaru Production gave in to the production staff's demand of doing a show with a defense team after the abysmal review of Ultraman Trigger. So they decided to continue the new generation Neo Frontier era with Ultraman Decker that received far off better reviews than its predecessor, and you can watch all of the Decker reviews on my channel. Exploring the impact of Ultraman Dyna in the history of Ultra is truly fascinating. Unlike the franchise revival show Tiga, Dyna didn't experience the same production's highs and lows as Nexus, nor did fully embrace the creative liberties exhibited by Ultraman Gaia. However, Dyna's significance lies in shaping the future of Ultra as we know it today. Dyna revolutionized the franchise in several different ways. Firstly, introducing the way that each and every form change would get not only a different pattern but also a different shaped body. Additionally, the team's defense jet being splittable, the defense team having a mascot, all things that got their start with Dyna. The show expanded its horizon, exploring more locations beyond Earth, the Moon, or M78, investing viewers to join the character on a thrilling extraterrestrial adventure. It also embraced long story arcs with more two-parters and more subtle sense of serialization. However, Dyna's impact goes beyond its technical achievements. It conveys an essential message about heroism and what it means to be extraordinary. The series teaches us that we don't need to hail from an ancient tribe or possess some extraordinary intelligence to be someone special. Instead, true heroism lies in growth. This realization is the first step towards change. Dyna reminds us that change is not only possible, but it's essential. It emphasizes the importance of rising above our personal struggle and extend a helping hand to those around us. By joining forces and supporting one another, we can create a beacon of hope, not only for the present, but the future generations as well. We together have the power to illuminate a path forward, leaving a lasting legacy for those who come after us. Thank you, Subaraya, for this amazing show. And thank you all for not only watching this extremely long video, but watching me for a full year. This was supposed to be my 1-year anniversary video. Yeah, it was delayed because it's super long and also had some problems in my personal life, but I chugged through and I wanted to finish this video and I wanted to publish it. So thank you for watching my weird magnum opus. I started my channel with Dyna, and this is how quote-unquote the first season of Trash Toku ends. But don't worry, Legacy of Ultraman would continue, because maybe next time we're going to look at something great. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.